When you read or hear about people who were in Scientology for 30 or more years, the majority were probably hippies during the 60s. Most were pacifists, and most of that group still are pacifists. That is part of the reason why they put up with so much shit from Scientology. I've read Barefaced Messiah, A Piece of Blue Sky. I just finished reading Jeff Hawkins' blog, and many other books and papers and so on. I've watched dozens of YouTube videos by many people who were in for years, among them Tory, whom I wish these childish assholes would leave alone, Jesse Prince, Stacy Brooks, Vaughn Young, Tommy Gorman, and on and on. I finally concluded that was a waste of time because their stories are all the same. The good thing about that is they are telling the truth about what happened because the storyline is very consistent from all of them. Change a few names, dates, and places, and they're all the same read or view. Jeff Hawkins, in his blog, which I would recommend you read, talked about people being screamed at by their peers in base, or whatever they call it, meetings. He said his peers wanted blood. Just nice people who are still in. This is a phrase I'm tired of. Nice people don't stick a knife in your back and turn it every chance they get. I'm really having a hard time figuring out exactly how I feel about these 30-year-plus people. I will qualify it by saying, from what I know about them, I do like them. But I guess I'm thinking more in terms of respect and standing up for yourself and judgment, things of that nature. I've never prioritized where I would put the people and things in my life if I put them on paper. If I did, it would probably go something like this. Faith is 1, family is 2, friends are 3, country is 4, and whatever follows. The people who were in for 30 or more years at some point had faith in Scientology. Most had family inside and out. Most, I believe, probably disconnected from family on the outside. That is totally unacceptable for me, or to me, for any reason. If you got a family problem, you work it out. The family on the inside was ripped apart by Scientology. Again, to allow that to happen, to me, is totally unacceptable. If my job separated me from my wife for a month or so, once every 2 or 3 years, I might accept that if it didn't put too much strain on my marriage or family life, and if the reward justified it. People willingly allowed Scientology to remove their children from them, and even to another area of the country in many cases. This is disgusting and totally and completely unacceptable. No one can justify that to me under any circumstances. When you bring a child into this world, they come first. You owe that to them. They didn't ask to be here. It was your choice, and it's your responsibility. Friends on the inside on the outside rather, get replaced with perceived friends on the inside. But you give up a major part of your life by giving up the friends that you grew up with. You are required to give up your country because or by Scientology, even though your country gave you the right to join this screwed up mess to begin with. Your country gave you many rights, but Hubbard didn't like your country, so you couldn't like it either. He even said your country was the enemy, and you carried his water for him. So for this group that calls itself a church, you have given up your freedom, multiple marriages in most cases, your children, your family, your friends, and your country. What the hell did you get in return? Degradation, sleep deprivation, living in squalor, living with cockroaches, food not fit for human consumption, physical beatings, mail fraud by having your mail open both ways, prison wages, if any at all, imprisonment, and so many other wonderful things, and the entire time you were defending these assholes. If you knew and maybe even loved someone who was addicted to crack and they had a spouse and children, Because of the drug abuse, they lost their apartment, had to live in the street. They lost their spouse, their family, and friends. Welfare took their children, and they were prostituting themselves on every corner in town. They weighed only 75 pounds, and their teeth had fallen out from meth mouth. You couldn't even let them in your house because they'd steal everything you'd worked hard for. They were constantly in and out of jail. Would you hate them? I would hope not. Would you trust them? Would you try to help them? I would hope so. But if someone is in the gutter and you reach out to them only to find they are pulling you in rather than you pulling them out, let go. The real question that I'm having to come to grips with is, would you respect them? I wouldn't. I guess I just answered my question. They could regain my respect if they got their life back together and stayed clean. I like reasons, but I detest excuses and apologists. You're responsible for your choices, and you're the only one who can make it right. Scientology is evil, period. The creator of this vile cult was evil. The people in power are evil. The so-called tech is evil. The tech is nothing more than science fiction written by Hubbard. It isn't real. Anything you can get from Scientology, you can get from other sources, because the only things offered by Scientology that might help people were plagiarized by Hubbard. The world would be a better place without any part of this money-grubbing cult existing. That includes free zone or any other form of this sickness. Saying free zone is okay to me is the same as saying neo-Nazis are okay, or a new form of the KKK is okay. It's just something that no good will come from. You like free zoners? What happens if Scientology is defeated and dismantled? Do you think that maybe a free zoner might see an opening and start over? Others have already tried using different names. The temptations that are inherent in money are beyond most people's ability to resist. One last thing. If that little son of a bitch hit me while I was standing at attention or whatever, I would have knocked his ass out with one punch. I may have to have fought 10 other people standing around him. But I'd give you 10 to 1 odds I would have gotten at least 2 or 3 of them before they beat my ass. If you have to take an ass whipping, at least have the balls to let them know you were there. I can't help the way I feel any more than you can. Please keep that in mind when you pass judgment on this video. Thanks for your time. Thanks for watching.